star. Makes no difference who you are. Anything.
So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of this. It's not the wish quite that we've been talking about, but wishes, I don't want to get too technical. But looking back, I wish I hadn't bullied my brother. And I think of one particular time, I don't know why, but as a young child, I was often very angry. I mean, the family may not have been in the most wonderful situation, but I was often angry, and I would take it out on him. And at the time that I'm thinking of, he was 7 and I was 9. And I have to say, taking it out of him, it was all verbal. If you know me, you wouldn't be surprised that it would be largely verbal. But we weren't allowed to hit each other, or if we hit each other playing Cowboys and Indians or something, you were never allowed to hit with anything, okay? That was against any kind of rule. And this is relevant because one time, I was in Augusta, Georgia, and I was in this little house, and I was somehow going at him. I don't know why. I don't remember what the content was. But I was just ranting and ranting and ranting at him. And he was a little guy, even for his age. And as I was going on and on, we had on the little desk a little horseshoe, a pony horseshoe that somehow would pick that up, and we'd painted it. We'd painted it black. And as I'm raving on in some way, he picks up the horseshoe and he lifts it up. And he says, "Stop, Marylee, stop." And his little chin's quivering. And suddenly I saw him. And I saw what I was doing. And so I stopped, I hugged him and let go. And that was it. And I don't believe that I ever bullied him after that. And I've recovered some things. I once rescued him a couple of years later. Some kids were bullying him, and some kid was riding his bicycle and spewing gravel as my brother was doing an oil painting of the San Diego harbor, and they kept coming by and coming by, 4 or 5 of them, because they thought it was weird to see some young fellow doing an oil painting, right? And I thought, I got to do something, and this next kid runs by, and I bikes by, and I grabbed him. I don't know, I mean, he was going fast, but I grabbed the kid in the bike, just stopped him dead. And my voice could barely speak, but I said, "Don't you ever do that again." And the kid's looking at eyes like this, and he never did it again. So, when we get together, like we're gonna be before long, my brother and I and my sister, we tell these stories. And we tell the rescue story and we laugh. We don't really laugh about the other one, and when we tell it, his chin still quivers. So I wish I hadn't done that. And there was another time, and there have been more than we have time for this today, of course, but there was another time, and it was in Ecuador, and it was my first trip. I was there with a partner, and we were traveling at that time, even though we were in, at middle age, in a sort of student style. And we were on one of those buses, goes along the Andes, and it's not exactly the chickens on the roof, but close to that. Right? And it's somehow slightly already in the countryside, wherever we'd been at a hacienda or something. And as we're waiting to get on this bus, it sort of stops by the road. And it's a Pan-American highway, but still it stops by the road. We're about to get on, and there's a couple, and they are local indigenous people. The woman in the traditional, you've seen the long skirt, the man with the white pants and the hat. And they are carrying a child, a tiny child, I would say five-year-old or so, also in the little long dress and the shawl, but they're carrying the child not over their shoulder, but this way. They're supporting it this way, the two of them. And as we're about to get on the bus, and they're about to get on the bus, I'm thinking, I want to get a good seat. And I want to get a good seat also so my friend can see everything. So I didn't exactly push ahead. But there's this moment when who kind of goes first,
Nice.
And so we went first, and we sat down somewhere near the aisle of the middle of the bus. And then they were sitting in the front seat, and they were again holding the child this way across the seat. There wasn't another seat, there may have been luggage, I don't know, and the child's legs were slightly hanging down. And we went on not long, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half hour. And I saw the child suddenly stiffen, and then the legs drop, and I knew the child had died. And sure enough, the next place, not even across the road, the bus stops, and they let them out. And so they may have been going to get help, but it was too late. And I know that that would have happened whether or not I had gotten on that bus first. But when you wish you hadn't done something, that was one of those times. And we can change the mood now. I wish I had known where the Sistine Chapel was. Okay? I was in, the student thing again in college, and I'm going to Europe, and I had read Western Civ, and I had read art history and all that kind of thing, and I'm in Rome. Parenthetically, the most disastrous place to be in if you've got long, streaky blonde hair. I've never been harassed so badly in my life. But in any case, I had read, of course, about Michelangelo's frescoes. I knew this. I read the book. I passed the test, and I knew that they were in the Sistine Chapel. And so people would say to me, oh, you got to go to St. Peter's, but whatever. You've got to go to St. Peter's. And I'm thinking, not another church, not another church. And so we didn't go to St. Peter's. When I got back to Berkeley, I looked it up. And of course, the Sistine Chapel is inside St. Peter's. You know that. So I had all this knowledge, but not really. I was sort of like an ignorant informed person. And the other thing, of course, naturally, you want to see the statue of David. It's in Florence, right? We were in Rome. So I missed that too. So I wish I had not been so ignorant, even if I was well-read. And I could do that. But now, so we're looking to the future now, see? And what do I wish for the future? Of course, like anyone, I wish my mortgage was paid for. That certainly. And we wish for peace and sustainability, environmental cleanliness. But what I'm wishing for is I wish that I could be a star. I wish that I could be a star. I keep thinking, there's going to be a group who knows like this, and there's going to be an agent in there, and they're going to say, Marylee, you're the one. We've been looking for you. They're going to, pay my mortgage, and then they're going to, sign me up for the sitcom and then the movies and the prequels and the sequels. It's going to happen. I don't have a lot of time yet, but I wish for that to happen. And I'm so glad that our musical Deaf Dogs sang the song they sang. Because when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. So I'm telling you, every evening, I go out to my balcony there in North End. I overlook everything. And I would like to wish upon a star. This is Vancouver. Yes. How often are you going to see a star?
Oh, come on. Come on.
No,
I can see them downtown.
But they're probably something you've been taking. It's just not if you got one night out of 10 when you can wish upon a star. And so I figure perhaps that explains why that wish has not yet come true.
When you wish upon a star, you're